All right, we are live here at FNGO, the lunch break, Wednesday, September 3rd. How are you guys doing? Know it'll take a few moments for some of you guys to get on, but hey, it is hump day. Hump day on a shortened week. I guess those are the best hump days out there, right? Take a hump day whenever you can get one. Mm, sip of coffee, get ready to go as you guys join me. Um, Great weather, great fishing weather out there. Lots to talk about. Of course, we had an absolutely fantastic Livewell last night. What's up, Houston and Fred? Yeah, last night was a really good Livewell. Very spirited conversations. Whether you agree or disagree with a lot of it, it was very good to hear the differing points of view. And that's one thing I like about our show is you can go on YouTube right now and you can pull up most of your videos out there that are talking about what happened with Bassmaster's rulings. And what you're going to get most of the time is either a pro or, a pro doing his, point of view on it. Maybe a couple of guys together doing their point of view. What I like about what we do is we put out your point of view. It's all about what you guys think about it. And I find that to be interesting because at the end of the day, we're the consumers, right? We're the ones that are going to take the time to watch or not watch what Bassmaster, MLF, MPFL put out because they're here to entertain us. I mean, honestly, when you turn on TV, that's what you're doing. Last night was fun. Far Dog, Doc Holiday, Atlanta Outdoors, Doug Rice, all you guys. Ryan over there on TikTok, appreciate you joining me. And I know a lot of other guys that kick on. But, yeah, that's why I like what we do here because, again, I'm not a professional angler. So my opinion is basically just like what you guys, I see it, whether I like it, whether I don't like it, but I love hearing all the people that follow us. I love hearing your opinions because, that's what we do. If we were all sitting around at a deer camp, having us a cold one by a fire, what would we be doing? We'd be either telling stories and lies or we'd be talking and giving opinions on things. So kind of what I want to do today is kind of take that conversation from last night and continue it, but with a few twists here and there, and just kind of see if, now that you've had 24 hours to digest it, what do you think? After you watched the live well last night, what do you think? Or do you even care? Be honest with you. And I know there's a lot of guys out there that do not watch professional fishing in any shape, form or fashion, and they don't care at all as to what the pros do. But we have pros on the show, and I have some friends that fish, on the tours, and so I like keeping up with it, even though I don't watch it. Like I'm not a fanatic. Fan is short for fanatic. I am not a fanatic. When it comes to the Braves, win or lose, I'm kind of a fanatic. I will watch everything they put out. But with professional fishing, it's kind of up and down, just depending on who's in the lead. Tyler says Clint should have dropped some waypoints last night. The real life. What's your opinion on being able to use live scope in the 2026 season of the MLF series? Well, the real life, here's the honest truth. I do a terrible job at keeping up with MLF. And we've talked about it before on this show. I watch the MPFL and I watch Bass, and I'm just trying to get into the MLF. As far as I like them having the periods, if that's what you're doing. Now, if you're talking about the elites, that's what we're going to talk about today. But you put MLS series, and I don't know if MLF changed theirs any at all from 2025. If they did, let me know. But as far as the periods on and off, the way they have it set up now, I mean, I'm good with that. Gives a little bit of both. And, yes, the elites. You meant the elites. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about here today. Let me hit a couple of these comments on YouTube, and we'll get into the conversation. I tried watching last night, was jumping on and off. Kids were killing me, no doubt. It doesn't matter what they do. I'm neither for it or against forward-facing sonar. I just got the ML2 up and running, so I'll either fish with it or without it. Dead rabbits out there, good morning. I would like to be able to tune in on YouTube to any and all anglers fishing tournaments. That's a possibility. I agree with that. The only thing I think would have made the Bassmaster announcement would be if they had waited until the week before the tournament to say what they were doing. Make it more interesting. Okay, I got what you, Fred Ashcraft. Kind of like the old Ray Scott days. I don't understand the hoopla. How is this not going to show a true angler of the year? And then Tyler showing up, what are the plans for the Thursday live well, planning on coming by in person? Since we've caught up right there, I ain't made plans yet, Tyler. Sometimes these weeks get busy, and we fly by the seat of our pants. So I will let you guys know tomorrow because that's probably when I'll know. My opinion is I don't think Bass should have changed it. I think we talked about this last night. I think they should have kept it because now you have the NPFL without it, MLF with it, summing off. And I just think Bass should have left it alone. Personally, I don't buy all the public outrage that everybody talks like there is. I don't see that here in my shop. I don't hear it from anglers coming in the shop. And I would say out of every 10 anglers that come in the shop, maybe one says something kind of smart about forward-facing sonar, some kind of dig about that. But and I feel like with the podcast and everything, I think I would kind of know the feeling. Galarian Corsola in 1998. Let's see. I don't know. I might have hit my phone. Let me quit. I don't want to swipe right. Let me get back down. I think Bass should have kept it for the elites, but maybe a separate trail for the non-forward facing sonar, which that's always a possibility. But here's the part with that. It costs money. First of all, when these guys go into a town, anywhere they go to throw a tournament, they're not going anywhere in which the community that they're going into doesn't give them money. You see what I'm saying? I mean, they're going to take that money. If they go to Hartwell, what is that, Green Pond or whatever that is, or whatever that landing is, there's money invested in it. So it's all about money. Now you can do a separate trail if you've got the backing from not only the areas, but also from the sponsors. So if you're going to do a non-forward facing sonar trail, you're going to have to find a different area of sponsors. And again, I'm not involved with Bass. I don't know that. This is just an average guy throwing out thoughts right there. Do any of the local tournaments have the A-rig banned? No, not that I'm aware of in Georgia. They definitely have to pay the bills to pay and the organization fees. Yeah, you got to cover all that for sure. And that's the big thing is the cost of this. Even the NPFL, they'll tell you, I've had those guys on here before. I've had them in the shop talking. When they have an area they'd like to go into, the first thing they want to see is the Chamber of Commerce in that area going to support them. And by supporting them, I mean, giving a little bit of money. Also, discounted rooms on hotels, things like that, because you have to weigh the economic impact of where they're going into. And I think that's what a lot of guys do. The motels and restaurants profit big time from the tournaments. If it's done right, Dino, you're 100% right. And let's see back over here. But no, Carson, I don't know of anybody locally that has the A-rig ban. I know all the ones I fish in, hey, let it fly. The tournaments I fished around here have hook limits. You can only have 3 hooks on your A-rig. And some of them are like that as far as, I think some of the states even say that. Spanking and Yanking needs to be on the Livewell to talk about how much he hates forward-facing sonar. I like him. So you're saying that Cranking and Yanking has been in the shop. No, he ain't been here, but I'd love him to come up 100%. And listen, he's just got to listen. I'll tell you this, guys like Cranking and Yanking that are against forward-facing sonar, at least when he comes and gets in our comment sections, he's kind of entertaining. You know what I'm saying? He likes to he makes his point, but he does it kind of in a humorous way that you can talk to him about it, and he may never disagree with you, but even eventually, if you kind of saw some of the comments, like last night, it wasn't so much about the technology, it was about the entertainment. There was all different kind of things, but he does love some crankbaits. Good Lord, last night he said crankbait, probably 20 times. And I saw it in the comment section. And last night it was like terribly busy in the comment section, so I couldn't keep up with all of them. But I would see, and some of you guys, I don't always read every comment, but it doesn't mean I don't read them. I just try to keep the comments flowing with the conversation. And he kept saying, they're biting the crankbait. And I saw it, and I skipped it. And went on down, and they're biting the crankbait. And I saw it, I'm like, oh, he's going to put that again. He is going to put that again. I knew it was coming. And about the 3rd or 4th time, I finally said, all right, guys, Cranking and Yanking wants all of you guys to know they're biting the crankbait. And, but I do like him. And listen, here's the thing. And this is one of the problems with all of this. You can be for what Bassmaster's done. You can be for forward-facing sonar. You can be against it all. The problem is in our society, if let's say I'm for forward-facing sonar, and you're against it, the way everything's set up right now is I'm supposed to hate your guts. That's the way our society is. If you're a Democrat, you hate a Republican hates a Democrat. And it shouldn't be that way. All right. It really shouldn't be the way. And that's kind of, and I think the vast majority of guys in bass fishing don't really care. Radar technology allowing you to go straight to a trophy buck and shoot said buck is not skillful. However, Chris, we mentioned this last night. You might not have the radar technology, but I guarantee you got trail cams. And I guarantee those trail cams, even though it ain't live, you can pattern a buck. And I guarantee you a lot of bucks are killed based just upon trail cam footage, because you can tell that buck is there at 8 o'clock in the morning. It might not be the same. But here's the difference. Just because you can see the fish doesn't mean you can catch the fish. And I'm going to argue both sides, because I'm okay with it if they ban it. Josh, can't stay long working. Unfortunately, love the arc crankbait I bought the day I swung by. They're good. I get what you're saying though, Chris. I get it. Now here's the thing is I can hear your comment and say, all right, you know what? He doesn't like it. And I can respect that, because you didn't come out with this. This is not the way you said it. Them flat build cheater box, bling, unbuildable. You know who I'm talking about. That's no way to go. And then of course, at the same token, you can't say, hey, listen, those guys are ignorant. They don't know how to catch fish. And that's kind of the problem, is nobody can come and talk. I respect your opinion that you don't like it. 100%. I don't have it on my boat, but I'm not against guys having it on theirs. And I fished with enough guys to know that, you can't. Plus, and I think I see it in the comment, cell cams. Take that cam about pointing it. And I have it, and a long-time tournament fisherman, it's just not right. And you know what? I can respect that. I respect that. And I would be totally cool if they banned it at the upper levels of tournaments. Hell, it wouldn't bother me if they banned it at local tournaments. I don't care. I just don't want to ostracize either or. You know what I'm saying? But Carson brought it up, like cell cams now. When you're deer hunting, it's kind of live. I mean, you can be sitting, if you have a deer stand in your backyard, 100 yards off your backyard, and you're sitting in your living room, your phone can go off, ding, 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 and you can look at that 10-pointer sitting right there eating on your corn pile. And all you got to do is walk right out the door, boom. Now, that's a possibility. It's also a possibility you might shoot and miss. Same thing with forward-facing sonar. But I respect your opinion. I really do. Let's see let me get back over here on the on this side of things, because the comments are rolling over here, and I am behind on them. I will send you your raffle tickets after the pod. Let's see. Jeremy Conrad. All the podcasts I've seen with the Bass Elite guys, they all voted to ban it, and Bass is who did it 50-50. Jeremy, I've heard differently from Elite guys that it basically was kind of 50-50 in their vote. And this vote was like a couple years, it wasn't just like recently, unless they had another one, but the one they originally had, those guys wanted a 50-50 split. You can hear Slick Johnson and all them guys talk about it. They wanted a 50-50, kind of like what they got now. And what Bass did was they went ahead with the 2025 season despite that vote. They could have done this last year. This is actually what the guys, according to the guys in the elites we've talked to, this is what was supposed to have been done last year. But what they did was they totally disregarded the anglers' votes and went ahead and just said, no, we're going to allow it. And now they've come back. They've come back to it. And that's what we were said. Now, anything else is conjecture. I don't know. It could be, but that's kind of what we heard. All right. And that is from actual Elite Series anglers. Aaron, I'm sorry, man, if I murdered your last name, buddy, but Aaron, I think a lot is going on behind the scenes with Garmin paying Bassmasters. They have a marketing budget of $180 million. Of course, they want forward-facing sonar. Well, of course they do. Of course they do. They're a for-profit company. I would be doing, listen, if I were Garmin, Humminbird, Lowrance, that's what I would do. I would want my product out there in front of everybody, and I would pay whatever it took, as long as it was a profitable return on investment, to sponsor those things in which I get a return. And we'll throw G-Man out there, him and his black eye. But if I knew that G-Man said, hey, listen, I want you to go drink coffee X, and I knew that by him saying it, coffee X, my sales are going to increase, hell yeah, I'm paying him. And that's exactly what Garmin's doing. And Humminbird. Let me rephrase that. I don't know that's exactly what they're doing. I would say, you know what? I don't blame them if it is. It is. We live in a capitalist society. Lord knows, try to make that dollar. I mean, if we got girls on OnlyFans making $40 million shaking their things, Garmin ought to be able to put Bassmaster, a couple extra million just to keep it. It's just the society we're in. Dead Rabbit, when am I going to be able to walk into the woods with goggles and be able to spot mushrooms like Predator and see mushrooms light up? No doubt, Dead Rabbit. I'm telling you what. And listen, if you're like Predator, you get to be invisible. That would be pretty cool. I would love to be invisible. Okay, I think that might actually be fun. Just to hear what some people how they talk about me when I'm not there. Like, think about that. Think about the people that don't like you. Wouldn't you love to just be able to stand beside them like totally invisible, and when they say something, just back of the head, and they don't know where in the world it come from? I think that would be fine. What I wouldn't want to do, you guys remember that movie with Mel Gibson where he could hear what people were thinking? I don't know if I would want that. The biggest thing in this channel is to keep all the disagreements civil. For sure, that's where all the drama is at. And in here, Danny's done a great job to keep it all inclusive. Let's keep it that way. That's what we try to do. Real life. Going fishing at a pond on my lunch break at work. See you later, dude. That is the life. That is the life right there. Let us know how you do. Cranking and yanking would be an amazing thing. What's up, Bluebell Homemade? I like that name. Good morning. Fish care isn't talked about enough. For sure, they don't talk about that. The issue with the debate is the same as fish care release. The majority are offended when the way they do things is questioned. And that's true. We have that all the time. Like, do you fish? If you fish, do you go through the mouth? Do you go through the side? Do you use the weights? Do you just throw them in your live well? How many times, guys, do you see pictures? And it doesn't really look, it's not a great look for bass anglers, but guys do it when they open up their live well. They got 5 good spots in there. They take a picture just to show that their live well is full, but 2 of them are turned upside down or laying on their side. Now, it could be that at the time they snapped the picture, the fish is swimming, but you guys know what I'm saying. When I see them pictures on social media, I cringe. I'm like, dude, that's kind of like in deer hunting now. Kind of like in deer hunting. You kill a trophy buck, great. Show it off, 100%. Stuff the tongue. Just don't give the other side any ammunition whatsoever. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's impossible, but try to just stuff the tongue back in a little bit. Because, it's kind of like that. Chris 2175, Major League Baseball has banned aluminum bats, kept wooden bats, preserving the integrity of the game. Yes, they have. And so, again, that's another way you can look at it. Is like maybe on the elites and on the highest level of tournament fishing, they shouldn't have it. I'm okay with that. Baseball is my favorite sport. They do, however, have the technology with aluminum bats and the BB core and all that, where you could use aluminum in the pros. You can deaden that bat. They do have that, but you're right. They could do this all day, but I've said enough. No, dude, talk. We love it. That's what this is all about. Everybody's here expressing some opinions. I do agree with that, though. I kind of agree. And like I said, if the elites banned it, I wouldn't be against it. I just don't think people should trash them one way or the other. Colton, to the guy yesterday after I got off the podcast asking about trolls on your YouTube, just ignore trolls. You have an audience as long as you stay consistent and engage with the audience. You know what, though? I'll be honest with you, Colton. We don't really get a ton of trolls here. I'll be honest. We don't. Now, again, we're not out on the water all the time, but we don't get a ton of trolls. What we get is the 1 or 2 guys after every live well that hit the dislike button. We get the thumbs down. And that guy shows up no matter what. But luckily, he's not in the comment section. What's up? What's up, Cody? Let's see what Glaze has to say. I think the why behind Bass's decision was to make a few big names happy. I think they didn't want to lose anglers like G-Man, Zaldane, and Matt Robertson. Probably a good business decision. 100% could be. It's the same thing with the MPFL. Like, I talked to some MPFL guys listen, if you ever hear, and I don't care if they put it out themselves, behind the scenes, if you ever hear anybody say it was about protecting fisheries and all that stuff, take it with a grain of salt. It was a business decision to separate themselves from the other 2 major tournament organizations to give them some standing and to give them kind of a platform for their league to grow. It was nothing more than a business decision. And you know it. I know it. And I've even heard it said, okay? Because I've even also heard it said that if they fell flat on their face, they could just bring forward-facing sonar back the next year. It was a one-year thing, and it worked for them. It was a risk. Fuller and them put it out there. They know it was a risk, and it worked for them. Now, I think fish wouldn't be so pressured if we weighed the fish and never put them in a live well. I do think that is the way of the future. I think you're going to see a lot more of that. We do some digital tournaments here on Lanier where it is catch and release, but I don't mind the weighing and all that. You kayak guys like the inches. I get tickled when they come in. Yeah, I caught a 23 incher. And the first thing I ask is like, what did it weigh? I like the weight thing. So as long as we can keep the weight, to me, it's more appealing. But to each his own. But I do think you're going to see that in the future. It would not shock me because didn't the elites do that on one tournament this year? Because it was like slotted or whatever like that. And I was fine watching that. They had a Marshall on there. Let's see. Big Bait John. Thank you, brother, for the wise words, Danny. Love you. I love you too, dude. I love you too. And I always tell everybody. I told him this morning. He was kind of struggling with something. And he said, God's probably testing me this morning. Or God's been testing me lately. And I said, you know what? I don't know if God's testing you, but he might be moving you to a place where he wants you to be. You might see that as testing. But he's moving you to where he wants you to be and where he needs you for the best, for your betterment. Always kind of keep it. It's all about perspective right there. I feel like the fish after being released at the ramp have no idea where they are. They're not. They don't. And there's been plenty of studies on whether the fish stay there and for how long and how long do they move back. They eventually will move off, but yeah, they're stunned. I mean, if somebody threw you in a van and drove you around all day in the dark and then dropped you off in the middle of nowhere, yeah, you'd be like, where am I? I get it. The fish do feel that. Or I'm sure they feel like they're like, where am I at? But as long as they're in the water, they're like, I can make it. Bassmaster needs to be upping that first place to 150,000. I honestly think that's correct. I really think they should bring, it's been 100,000 for how long now? It's been 100,000 for a long, long time. Again, though, you got to have money coming in to do things like that, especially with the way they kind of lowered the entry fees and everything. What's up, Alex Far Dog? Let me see. Try to catch up. I agree, Danny. We hunters and anglers are getting hammered by non-outdoor people. You got to listen. You got to be that way. What is the best lake in Mississippi? Just moved here. I don't live in Mississippi. Guys out there in YouTube land and anybody watching on TikTok, you got something for him, for Thomas? What's the best lake in Mississippi? Because I do not know. What's that lake they crappie fish out there in Mississippi? Ain't there one? Ain't there like this? Seems like I have heard that lake. I think it's in Mississippi. Hey, new here. What are we talking about today? Bassmaster's forward-facing rule changes and whatever the heck you want to talk about. We'll go anywhere. The MPFL made a great decision. The second best decision was to stick with it and quit going back and forth. It worked out 100%. That's what I'm talking about. Fuller, like I said, I talked to him on the phone, and Paul Benson's been in here, and I talked to Big Al. Like, they went. Mark Hansen, quit telling people about ways to catch brown trout. Sorry about that, dude. I guess you're talking about the finisher, huh? Listen, I share information. I try not to be a bait keeper. Brylex Still Cox 1 says, Thomas Alexander, there ain't no fish in Mississippi. I got to try to catch up on the message. Guys, I am Lake Fork. No, that's not that it. I don't like the Livewell dead rat. I don't know what you guys are talking. Oh, you're talking about the Livewell. I thought you were talking about the actual show last night. Thomas, Grenada. Stillwater Film says Grenada, however you want to say that. Kevin Cantrell. Tom Bigby, Waterway. And that's where the elites are going to be. I actually put down the elite schedule. I got it right here in front of me and what we're going to do here in a second because I haven't read up all of it. Okay, I ain't read all of it, but what I think they're going to do is tomorrow you're going to have two lakes. Ross Barnett, again, another lake, Thomas Alexander. That's from Joe Bennett on Facebook. So tomorrow, I assume they're going to put two lakes side by side. This is kind of what the guy said last night. And I don't know if they're going to flip a coin or whatever they're going to do, but they're going to choose between those two lakes. People used to think we were crazy throwing jerk baits 10 to 15 years ago. Now everyone does it. Yeah, I know some fellas up here on the Chattahoochee River that bust some big browns on jerk baits. They do. Absolutely, they do. But anyway, I've got, and I think that's what they're going to do. And so to me, they got to kind of do it by like tournament 1-2, tournament 3-4, because they're kind of in general areas. And so, we'll go over this in a second. Just kind of, what's your pick on it? Howdy, boys. I'm on Weller's Bay, 7 largies so far on a Spro trap and a T-rigged crawl. Good for you, Kurt. You could be in here. I would love to be on the lake right now. What's the most you've ever lost in a coin toss? Jeez. I don't gamble much. $10? I ain't got your money, Coleman. I ain't got your money. But not a lot. However, I did lose $100 on a job site one day when we would take quarters and we would kind of throw them at the wall. You see Michael Jordan and them in The Last Dance where they're flipping the quarters. You got to be the closest to the wall. I did lose $100, but I won quite a few doing that too on job sites. But anyway, okay, guys. So listen, we're going to do it our own way. I don't know if this is how Bass is going to do it or not, but I'm going to take the schedule and I'm going to give you 2 lakes side by side, and you tell me which one should be forward facing and which one shouldn't. Let me read Cody's comment real quick before we do it. I'm not really for nor against forward facing sonar. I think affiliations either need to have it or not have it at all. If they have it, then the anglers got to learn to use it, to keep up with it and the game, and to stick to their confidence techniques and fish their butt off. This is coming from me. This is either a co-angler or in my kayak with 0 electronics. Okay, it's coming from you that you don't have it. If I catch a bass with 0 electronics, it's definitely a great feeling. But don't get me wrong. If I had forward-facing sonar or any electronics at all, I'd still feel proud. Is Ray Scott rolling over thinking, what the hell? I don't think he is. I don't think he is. You want to know why? What are we talking about today? We're still talking about Bassmaster. Okay. And and I wonder if Ray Scott, what's up, Traveling Fisherman? I wonder if Ray Scott now, because a lot of people say that the catch and release is really hurting lakes. He kind of, you remember the first few things, they kept everything. You see them pictures of the old tournaments like that, especially ones in Florida was like 10 pounders on it. And those fish, they didn't get returned. And then he started the catch and release because that was a view that people didn't like. And now you got a lot of people, Thad Moody in there, the biologist will tell you that catch and release is actually hurting a lot of fisheries, that fish need to be taken out. So, I mean, Ray, you know what? Ray's up there with the Angels. He don't care. Let me tell you something. He ain't sitting there worried about what we're doing. If he's where I think he is, I wouldn't be. That's just me. But anyway, all right, here you go. Here's 2 lakes. You tell me which one in the comment sections, which one should be forward facing and which one should not, okay? So February 5th, the very first tournament of the year, is Guntersville, Alabama. And the next tournament is February 12th, the following week on Lake Martin, Alabama. Now, those 2 lakes, if you ask me, I think Guntersville could live without the forward-facing sonar. I think they would slay with it, but I think they'll slay without it. It's just such a huge fishery, just a huge fishery. I think between those 2, I would hope that Lake Martin, because it's not near what Guntersville is, I would hope Lake Martin would get the forward-facing sonar. And here's why. They're going to crush it on Guntersville anyway. They're going to absolutely crush it with forward-facing sonar. I mean, we've talked about it all year long, 30-plus pound bags coming out on Guntersville. So you guys kind of, they'll be trapping on Guntersville. You guys kind of agree with me. Guntersville, if it falls right, if it falls right, absolutely. Let's see. Yeah, Bass Talk Light has several elites on it. I suggest anyone on both sides should watch it. Yeah, I watched some of that. And, and I sent Jay Lee a text. I wanted to know his thoughts. And I haven't checked my phone to see if he'd come back to me yet. But you guys, I think a lot of you guys agree with me. Kyle Brown, Spotted Bass, Clearwater, that's Martin. I live at Martin and I use forward-facing sonar, but I think Martin will not be one scoping. You could be correct, Stillwater. You might be 100% correct. I would just think that you just don't have to have it. And you would really hope for no forward-facing at Guntersville. Because, man, think about that. Could you imagine if Kyle Welcher had a day like he did on that, what was that, what was it called? Was it Passport Tank or whatever? Where he absolutely just, killed the field. What if somebody had a day like that on Guntersville, but with Guntersville fish? What if somebody was bringing in 40 pounds, 45 pounds, and they use forward-facing sonar? Could you imagine the outrage? But what if somebody brought in 40 pounds without it? I don't know. But I would think of those two lakes, if I had my druthers, Gunnersville would be a no. Lake Martin would be a yes. But again, I don't know how it's going to go. What's next? Take away the treble hooks? Well, listen, on delayed harvest streams up here in Georgia for trout, during the delayed harvest, you got to use artificial only, single hook. And I think a couple of them are no barb. I'm not 100% sure on a no barb, but I know you can't use a treble hook in some of the fisheries up here, the delayed harvest trout streams. They take away that treble hook. They absolutely do it. Now, it's only from November to May, but they do it. The young guy, let's see, but that won't prove anything. If the young guys really prove these boomers wrong, it should swing the other way out. You're probably referring to somebody's thing up there. Is it just me, or do you think that the bass industry just loves the drama with forward-facing sonar? It kind of keeps things on social media going. 100% I do. Sometimes bad attention is better than no attention. Now, think about that. Think about a kid. Think about what a kid does when he's in, when a very young kid, when you're checking out of the grocery store and he wants a candy bar or she wants a candy bar and the mama says no. And boy, they pitch a fit. What are they trying to do? They're trying to get attention, try to do that because it's bad attention. Why do kids act out sometimes with parents that don't pay attention? Because they want attention. I don't know. It's all publicity. We're talking about them today. And we're not talking about MLF. We've talked a little bit about the NPFL, but what are we talking about today? Bass. So professional fishing is overrated. That's from Mr. NPFL guy, Robert Blesky. And Rob, I enjoyed our conversation this morning. Going from 10 to 15 pounds to 30, from 10 to 15 to 30 to 50 is crazy in just a couple of decades. I'm telling you, listen, those guys out at Gunnersville were just absolutely crushing it with scope. I'm talking about scope on the Ville or Martin. Let Trey win Lake Martin with no scope. That'll hush. Yeah, that'll shut them up. Yeah, so and we're going to see that. We're going to see if the young guys, which I think are going to do just fine. I think they're going to do just fine. I can only speak for the young guys that we know personally. Emil and Paul Marks Jr. are going to be just fine. And I would imagine that entire household, that group together, they'll be just fine. I'm going, I think some of the older ones, I think the Johnston brothers will be just fine. I think Welcher would be, I think all of them are going to be just fine without it. Because I don't care. You got these guys in social media like, these young boys wouldn't be on the elites if they didn't have that forward-facing sonar video game playing stuff. And I'm like, dude, you are absolutely full of shit. Those guys could go out here in Highway 53 in this concrete asphalt road right here in front of my shop, and I guarantee you they could figure out a way to catch a fish. 100% they could. And the problem with a lot of these guys, and like Blaze was in the comment section earlier, he's got live scope. I've been on his boat. I've been on it with Underwood. It does let you see more. Cannot deny it. It does let you know how they act. Cannot deny it. But it don't mean you're going to catch the things. Spencer Graves, they will find something else to complain about. Next, it will be solely about daddy's money. And they've already, Spencer, dude, you're right. They've already said that. Daddy's money. But listen, daddy's money's been around since daddy had a job. Seriously, daddy's money has been around. You think back in the Bible, Abraham had money. What did the prodigal son do? He came back to daddy. Daddy takes care of you. Daddy's always took care of you. Travel ball, travel basketball, it's been that way. When I was in high school, we always had the one kid that got the brand new Trans Am, while we got the used Mustang, 78 Mustang. You know what I'm saying? And my dad didn't have a lot of money, but he gave it to me when I needed it. I never went without. If I was a dad, I'll tell you this, I did stupid things with money. I remember my son back playing ball, 11 years old or something. 11 years old. This is how my brain worked back then. I spent $480, $490 on a kangaroo leather Nakahoma or whatever the hell it was, kind of baseball glove, infield glove that the pros use. I did that for my 11-year-old. Now, he still has it. And it was one of these type of gloves that they're lifetime gloves. Don't get me wrong. If you take care of them. Why did I do that? Because I wanted the best for my kid at the time. We all do, whether we can afford it or not. Could I afford to do that now? No. But I did at the time. Same thing. Remember when One Direction came out? Good Lord. You don't know you're beautiful, baby. My daughters love that. You guys, this has been, I mean, my oldest 30, so we're talking 15 years ago, guys. I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. You know how much I paid for One Direction tickets so that my two daughters could go watch One Direction because daddy wants to do the best for, he wants his kids to be happy. Stupid of me. I wish I had the money back. I think I dropped $1,000 a ticket for them to go see 5 guys sit up there and lip sync or do whatever it was. We parents do stupid things sometimes. Now, I like to say that's pre-Jesus Danny, not Danny now. Danny now would say, nope, ain't no way in the world I'm doing that. You learn. I've matured. But back then I did it. But we guys will do that. You dads know. You know how it is. If you got it, you want to give it to them. Now, some of you may be better at it than others where you say, no, you got to earn it and all that. Should have done it. I should have done it. But I did stupid things with money for my kids. I paid all the money for the travel ball stuff. I wish I had every dime back. My dad blames the young generation for everything and being spoiled. He was complaining about a worker that lives off his father-in-law. Meanwhile, my dad got bailed out by my grandpa numerous times. Yeah, buddy, 100%. If you're on the elites and had daddy's money, it's a better investment than some others. True. I agree. My dad makes me earn my money, sadly. Yeah, I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. My dad did too, but my dad bailed my butt out. Listen, let me be honest with you. I've had family members that I love dearly bail my butt out many, many times. Now, that's being in trouble and stuff. Now, imagine if your kid's good and he wants to do something. Yeah. Now, we talked about it last night, and you'll see a TikTok coming out later. I still think in high school fishing they should ban forward-facing sonar. Good Lord, it's coming to flood here today. I didn't know it was supposed to rain. I didn't know. No, excuse me. That's not what I was trying to say. I just think in high school, you try to level the playing field as best you can because it's high school. And you do have kids that have it and have no. Now, when you get into college and all that, let it rip. So, but yeah, daddy's money's been around forever. Uncle's money's been around forever. Father-in-law, whatever. It's been around forever. And everybody wants to help. So I can't stand that daddy's money. And that often comes up with Trey McKinney. Let's just be honest with it. And a lot of comments, I see that about Trey McKinney. You know what I say? I say he was blessed. His parents, he wanted to do something. His parents invested in him or whoever invested in him. He worked his tail off and he made it to where he wanted to go. He made it. And now Trey made a lot more money than most 20-year-olds because of daddy's money. Yeah, Jeremy. But here's my question to you. What's your point? A lot of you guys voted for Donald Trump for president. Donald Trump got his real estate empire started off with about $1 million from his daddy. A lot of us voted for him to be president. It's all about perspective. Daddy's money is daddy's money. But I'll tell you this right now, Trey McKinney's making his own money. He's making his own money. Wait till that grandkid gets here, Danny, and you will see if you hold to that. Yeah, no, I'll probably blow money on that joker. They've already decided his name's going to be Maddox. Maddox Pruitt. Probably after Greg Maddox. He won't admit that. Small loan of $1 million. Yeah. No, I'm saying his dad invented. I'm saying his dad invented him. Okay, I got you, Jeremy. Well, his dad might have invented him, but even if that kid had to have that desire to go. So at least if dad had a dream for his kid, the kid was on the same page and took it and ran with it. So, and don't get me wrong. I know a lot of guys don't like him. Me and Trey McKinney have a good relationship. And I'm telling you, he's another one. That joker could catch fish out of this desk. He'd figure a way how to do it. People say that daddy's money, people who say daddy's money are jealous because their dad was broke. I don't know about that, Alex. I mean, could be. Not a lot of them, I'm sure there's some that are like that. I get it. That's kind of, I don't know if their dad was broke, you know what I'm saying? But I get what you're saying. Daddy's money's just an excuse. Don't worry about it and outwork everybody. Well, that's what Trey McKinney did. Do you guys know that before Trey McKinney was on the show last year, I tried to get him on for a solid month and a half. And you know why I couldn't get him on? He was fishing. He was fishing every single day somewhere between his events. He was fishing. He said, if I recall correctly, and I might be wrong, but I'll have to go back and watch it, and it was either him or another one, that he'd only been home 2 weekends in 3 months. He's out there fishing. And the night he was on the podcast, he was actually duck hunting or dove hunting, one of the two. And he did that all through the day and stopped right there towards the end to jump on the thing. The kid, Paul Marks Jr. is like that. I can't get Paul Marks Jr. to slow down long enough to get him on this podcast. Not because we don't like, I mean, you know, I think he's been on before. I think he likes us. But when Emil was on the other night, he called Paul to see if Paul wanted to be on. Paul was out of town again. Them kids go. Now, I don't know whether he was fishing or not, but a lot of them do. He could have blown it all like a lot of guys do, and Daddy starts to get mad at you when you turn 30. I've been there. Trey was blessed with more work ethic than money. Now, Stillwater's jumping on my high school thing, and we'll get to the rest of these lakes here in a second. Absolutely. No forward-facing sonar in high school, then regulated in college. I think they'd be unbeatable once they qualify for the Elite Series, Bass Pro Tour, or NPFL. Then again, the rookies are pretty unbeatable right now. To me, and you're going to see that if you watch that TikTok or that short I put out later today, there's a twofold argument. I think the level of the playing field in high school, it should be banned. But, and I say it in this, the counter argument, like I said last night, is a lot of kids are interested in fishing now because of the technology. And then also, too, again, guys, you got to think, listen, when I grew up back in the 80s, I know I'm an old fart. I'm not as old as Holiday up there, but I'm old. We had farm ponds every 25 feet that we could go fish. We could just get on our bikes and take off and go to a lake, or we could stay out all night on a lake. The kids today don't have that, at least not in this neck of the woods anymore. So they turn to other things to keep their, keep going. And it could be video games, whatever. Well, now you got some kids who in this technology-based world, the world of YouTube and TikTok and all that and computers and, the iPhones, everything, now there is something that is attracting a lot of them to fishing. So is it a bad thing? So it's kind of like, and that's exactly what I said last night. I went, you'll see it. But I think in high school, the reason I say it is because of the financial disparities in high school. That's kind of what I say. It's not so much the technology, it's the financial disparities. And a lot of kids can't fish that want to fish high school because they don't own a boat. Mom and dad can't afford a boat. They try to go as a co-angler with people. But if you watch co-anglers in high school, your upper echelon kids are going to pair with each other. You very rarely will see a kid that is a state winner or one of those kids with a newbie, a senior with a freshman. No, he's paired up with another senior, and they go and they dominate. And I'm not saying that's wrong. But what do you do to give the kid, in high school football, pretty much you got the same helmets, using the same bats, same basketball. Only in, soccer is the same. From a team across, it's pretty much regulated throughout the, unless you're Buford, and then you got the, nice stadium. I'm just kidding. I love it. But in high school fishing, you get a huge disparity between, and that's where money comes into play. And that's the only reason I think it should be banned. It has nothing to do with me about preparing them for college and all that. I mean, it does, but to me, it's like kid number one doesn't have the opportunity. Should it be the same? I don't know. But that's why I would say ban it in high school. Let's see. You guys are talking about what you would do. Would you rather your son be on a lake or in a bar? Well, I'd rather him be on the lake, but you guys want to know something? My son hates to fish. Now, see, here's another thing. Now, listen. My son Unless it is now, he played baseball, football, and basketball growing up. Played them all the way through high school. If I would try to take him fishing, it bored the daylights out of him because he was a go, play video games. I mean, good kid. Only got in trouble a few times. Great kid. Love him to death. You know, I love my boy. But his attention span at that time was like fishing bored him to death. Even if we were catching fish, bored him to death. Now, as he's gotten older, he has started to go deer hunting with me a little bit. He's kind of gotten to the deer hunting, but he is not going to sit in a stand all day. I'll go in a stand if it's during the rut. I'll do a morning to night, sit in a stand all day thing. My boy ain't going to do that. And he's now 23. So now let's take the 15 and 16-year-olds who are probably just like him. Probably just like him. Now you got a technology. They're like, ooh, what is that? Oh, I can actually see the fish move. Oh, I can. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it could possibly bring more kids into fishing. Now, when it comes to tournament day, it was said last night, don't do it during the tournament, but let them practice with it. I don't know. You want the kids fishing. I don't want them in a bar. But I'll tell you right now, my son would probably be in a bar before he would be on the lake, unless he's on a jet ski, if we're just being honest. I've addressed it to our community, and they won't even start it up because wealthy farm boys. I guess you're talking about high school fishing. That's why we need to get kids more involved in kayaks. I'm on disability, and I'm on my third one, saving for my fourth. True, John G. But there's some other things, too. There's other things, too, involved when it comes to high school. And this is why I don't think high school kayak fishing is really kicked off. Insurance and liability. I think that's a big thing. Now, I'm not involved in high school fishing. You'd have to do a totally different set of lakes. You couldn't think if you got 250 teams in the average high school tournament up here on Lanier. Now, let's say you got 250 teams that are doing kayak. You can't do that on Lanier. You can't throw 250 kids out there. Okay? You can't throw 250 kids on electric only like Latham either. It ain't big enough. So it's kind of like, I get what you're saying. Would it be cheaper? For the most part. What's up, Ditch Pickle Daddy? Would it be cheaper? Yeah, probably, unless you're like Alex. Alex probably got $22,510.32 in his kayak. It looks like a boat, dude. I mean, it looks like it would just take off and fly. Now, Alex, you know I'm teasing it. You got a very awesome setup. Awesome setup. But, and also too, you wouldn't want to put a bunch of high schoolers in the river. Liability. That's why I think it would be great if you could get around the liability issues. I know some guys that won't boat captain because of the liability issue. I've actually heard them say to my face, I'd love to. No way I'm going to. Too many risks involved if one of the kids got hurt and I get sued. I have heard that come out of plenty of people's mouths. So, I'm glad people do. But there are reasons why they don't. And it's that. Now, if you could take our litigious society and settle it down some, maybe. I think a high school kayak league would be fantastic if you could figure out where to put them and could get around the liability issue. Because the first time you have a kid fall off a kayak, and heaven forbid, not make it out of the water, it's coming. It's bad enough with the boats. I can't imagine it with a kayak, what would happen. And, that's just our society. Dead rabbit, the liability is a huge issue. Depends on the lake unless they had electric only lake. And see, that's the thing at Land Outdoors. Let's take Latham, 340 acres. In an electric only tournament with 25 boats. Okay. You think 300 acres is plenty big enough. 340 acres is plenty big enough. You're going to find that you're still on top of each other. Now put 250 kayaks on that. And you would have to, let's just 250 is a lot. Let's say 100 kayaks. So now you got 100 kayaks on Latham. Well, they ain't but X amount of points. They ain't but X amount of creeks. So you're going to have guys fishing next to each other. But what you would also have to do is close that lake down to the public. Because on a given Saturday or even a given Sunday, when they're having that tournament, you still have people coming in their electric only boats, people coming in their kayaks, and people coming in to do goat yoga. I ain't never figured out the goat yoga. but it happens. Not goat yoga. They do yoga on their longboards or whatever the hell they're called. Seen it. So even though it's 340 acres, you would think, okay, that's 3.4 acres per kid. It really ain't. And it's really, fishable water. It would really get crowded. Now, could you do it on hard labor and social circle? That's 1,000 acres. So yeah, you probably could. And you might not have an issue if you did it on Hickory Log. But then again, Hickory Log don't have the parking, but for like 25 people. So it's like they would really have to do some work. Now, like even on Stamp Creek and Allatoona, where we fish our electric only tournament, okay, even there, we have to watch the bass boats come in and out. And most of them are fair. I mean, most always, they're very well, they keep their space. There's really no trouble. But now, what's up, Peg Leg? Have you fished with that tow yet? And did you get your transmission taken care of? But even not those kayaks out there. I don't know that there's an answer. But man, high school fishing is huge. So that's another reason too why I don't think bass fishing is dying. Look at the amount of people, doing it. Caught 3 sharks yesterday and a big blue last night. On your tow? You used your tow to catch 4 fish? And did you video it? All right, let's see. When I was in high school, I tried to join the fishing club, but they kicked me out because I didn't have a boat. Yeah. I have a guy on the way to buy the car. It happened to have my wife's. Haven't had the title with you. You had the title with you? Boy, you got lucky. Now, but the same thing happens with football. Kid in South Carolina had to be airlifted last Friday. True. No, he hasn't fished with a tow yet. Now, listen, hey, Messick, like I got hospitaled out of a football game. I had an ambulance ride my senior year. Fractured my growth plates in both hips. So, yeah, true. Football, yeah, I mean, I get it. But I'll tell you what, there's more concussions, honestly, in basketball and soccer than there is in football in high school. Trust me on that one. But yeah, I mean, true, you get it. But then, okay, so let's say the liability. I mean, you have to sign waivers, right, to play football. It's been a long time since my kid played football. I don't remember what all we had to do. And I guess you could sign waivers and liability and all that. I just don't know that it would be safe. You've got me rethinking my proposal to the community now with technology, safety, and liability. Think even it's great to wish for, but I may think it might not be a good idea pursuing it. No, pursue it and come up with solutions. Pursue it and find a solution. Somebody needs to find a solution. We'll see you, Peg Leg. Bassmaster has never had a lot of anglers from Georgia, only 4 now. Well, hey, Alabama, those kind of states are really going to, Alabama and all that, Tennessee, they're going to reign. I think North Carolina has a bunch of them too. This is a Fish Finder Value Guide. GHSA bass tournaments allow 4 kids per team. You can swap out kids throughout the season or in a tournament. Only 2 can fish at a time. That might be true, but I can tell you the ones that I see up here, I've never seen a 4-kid team. It's always 2. The NFL season kicks off tomorrow with the Cowboys and Eagles. I got Cowboys winning, but it's likely the Cowboys will lose. Probably so. Insurance companies consider water a bigger threat. Add a pool and see how much your insurance goes up. Yeah, 100%. Hoping Pickens has had a good season with Dak. Pickens has got some studs. You had Richards and Goforth and all that. But what that one kid, let's see, dual threat fishing is the future with their team format. BigDaddyTrump.org. I am not familiar with that. I'm going to write that down right now and check it out. Dual threat fishing. We'll check that out from BigDaddyTrump.org. Hell of a name there, dog. Hell of a name. All right, let's go to the next 2 lakes. I know we spent a lot of time on that. Which one do you want forward facing and which one without? March 26th, Tom Bigby in Mississippi, or April 16th, the Arkansas River in Oklahoma. Which one do you think on that? I'm not familiar with either one of those. So ask the Bass Council about it. He has talked to them. Okay. Talk to Slick. I can hit Slick up from the Alabama Bass Council. Kyle Brown says neither. I'm not. Listen, those 2 things right there don't get me excited. They do not turn me on. Yeah, there goes my live thing again. So hopefully it will give me the opportunity. Let's see if it will give me the opportunity to keep you guys going again. It didn't last night or yesterday. Let me try that. TikTok, hit these numbers. This is such a pain in the ass, boys, to do this right in the middle and keep a conversation going. Yeah, it's like ridiculously dumb. All right, almost done. Resume. There we go. All right, took care of it. Sorry about that. Either one of those, Tom Bigby or Arkansas River. I would say, if I'm just guessing, don't let them scope Arkansas River. Scope the river if there's smallmouth. Okay, I got that. That right there is like, I don't really give a crap either way. Okay, that's one of those that I'm like, yeah, whatever. Now, how about this one, though? The next two. Arkansas, if they have to. Okay. No angler from Georgia has ever won the Classic. Best chances now. Yeah, we got a couple in there. Absolutely. How about this? May 7th, Lake Murray, South Carolina, or May 14th, Santee Cooper, South Carolina. Now, for me personally, just because I watched that elite event on Murray, I would rather see them scope Lake Murray. No scope on Santee Cooper, scope on Murray. Scope on Murray. Yeah, 100%. Because, yeah, Murray scope. Because them daggum things act like spots do on Lanier here. When you get largemouth schooling like that, scope them up, boys. Let's see what happens. Scope them up. But I think a lot of you agree with that. Now, of course, unless you live on the Santee Cooper and you're like, no. We want the scope. No, I think you scope Murray. All right, now how about this one? June 11th, Pasquotank. Hell, I can't pronounce it. The Pasquotank River, North Carolina, or Lake Champlain, New York. I know what my vote is. I would rather see them scope Champlain. That's just me. What about you guys? Champlain? Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. I mean, you get in smallmouth. Now, it would be cool to see them fish one of the smallmouth lakes with no scope. It would be pretty interesting to see if the weights would be as good. But for the entertainment value, to me, I want to see them catch fish. Scope it. And then, of course, now you got the coin flip. This is what they're going to do with St. Lawrence. They're going to do a coin flip. So 50-50 chance you got that. Would you like to see St. Lawrence with or without? Now, you're coming off. Now, consider this. You're coming off of Champlain 2 weeks earlier, because this is on August 27th. So 2 weeks earlier, if we got our way, they'd be scoping Lake Champlain. Now you're going to St. Lawrence. Part of me would be like, okay, you guys I'd like to see them do it without it. Just because they just did it with it. I think it'd be pretty cool to say, okay, let's see the differences. Right here, you got two smallmouth, just amazing smallmouth fishes. But there's a lot, I think a guy on one or two of them guys catch, there's some largemouth up there too. But I don't know. You guys say you want it with on St. Lawrence? I could be okay without it. Wife is wondering about the picture on your desk. Right here, this picture. That is Van Halen, and it's signed by with Hagar, and it's signed by all the band. Josh got that for me. Surprise possession. Appreciate you subscribing. Okay, now Doc Holliday. All right, so Doc Holliday said Patricia Leanne again. This is it. I don't know the history of all that. Pretty sure Stanley Mitchell from South Georgia won it in 81. All right, guys, get on the Google, find out. Get on the Google and find out. So, that's the thing. It'd be interesting. I think they're doing that tomorrow. And you'll know which one's with, which one's without. But I think we all kind of pretty much agree, in theory, what we'd like to see. But when it comes back to the whole thing, let me just ask you just straight up. I want a yes or no. Just a straight yes or no. Did Bassmaster make the best decision in your mind that they could have made when it comes to these rule changes? Just straight yes or no. Being in the position that they were in, it's a win, lose, or whatever position. But yes, they did the best they could do. No, they didn't. Danny, do you like Wolfgang stuff too? Yeah, he sings a little high for me, but the music's amazing. Fish Finder says no, they didn't. Coleman says no, they didn't. Kyle Brown says no, they didn't. Steven Sturgeon said yes, they did. Can't believe Sammy and Eddie isn't just known. I don't know what you mean by that. Let's see. I'm trying to go. Fred Ashcraft said yes. And then I posted a picture of a smallmouth of the North Georgia Fishing Group on Facebook, and a lot of people thought it was an Alabama bass. Well, not everybody there is experts. I'm a member of that. I'm not an expert. No, they didn't. Mike Geiger said, and you guys on TikTok can throw in there too. Did they make it? It's very interesting. Do you think okay, so how about this? So it's a lot of you guys, there's a few of you that said yes, they did. A lot of you guys said no, they didn't. Straight up, yes or no. Should they have kept it as is? Allowed forward-facing sonar, one transducer, 55 inches of screen. Should they have left it at that? Or should they have gone, we'll give you the other option. No. None of, like NPFL, none of it. Now, Big Daddy Trump says yes. Coleman says yes. Brian Justice says yes. Tyler says yes. And it was like last night, Mark kept saying this, and he made a good point. Like, who are they trying to appease with this decision? Who was Bassmaster trying to appease by changing the 2026 forward-facing sonar rules? Is it a particular group of anglers? Is it, the fans? Because a lot of you guys, if we're doing this, a lot of you guys are like, it seems like you liked it the way it was. We will see. It seems like a lot of you guys liked Bassmaster the way it was. You can't stop technology. You are running this show from a flip phone or Windows 95. Man, listen. We ain't running it from no flip phone or 95. You got to come in here and see the setup. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cameras looking at me. Just only use one of them for the daytime show. And then, one of them is specifically designed. This one I'm pointing at, that's specifically designed to go on TikTok. It's a Venus camera or something like that. It's designed for TikTok. Now, I might not have it in focus, but honestly, it is. We got a bunch of stuff in here. Josh Burnt, let's see. Okay, talking about who? Kyle Brown says they're trying to appease the older generation. Also the fans. Josh Burris says no. No, they didn't do the right thing. Assassin King, what do you listen to heading to go fishing? I listen to Hank Jr. and Waylon Jennings. Right here. I listen to Van Halen, or I'm praying to God that the fish actually bite. Big Daddy Trump. That's what I'm saying. You are up to date with technology. Okay, I got what you're saying, dog. I got what you're saying. Coleman said they're probably the people who actually pay for the magazines. You talking about that's who they're trying to appease? And now listen, do you guys think that, and I haven't seen the numbers, I don't know. Kyle Brown says social media, and Fred Ashcraft said everybody, and you can't please everybody. I am actually friends Facebook with a lot of them out there. Got some people waiting for me. I told them I'm closed to 1:30. But anyway, I've made friends on Facebook with some people in the bass organization. I think I might like reach out and just behind the scenes, like, I'd like to know, because like if you listen to Randy B and others, he'll tell you that thousands upon thousands upon thousands, and he's not the only one, thousands upon thousands of people have canceled their Bassmaster membership. And I want to know, is that actually true? Is that actually true? Have they canceled it the way they're saying it? Because probably, is there for every one cancels, we get 2 joined? Or for every one that cancels, or 1 joins, we lose 2? I'd like to really honestly know what the numbers are. We may never get the actual true numbers. Some organizations are kind of coy with their numbers. Just look at the news. Look at the news at night. You can have 3 different networks, and they all got 3 different numbers for the exact same event. If you want to make everyone happy, go sell ice cream. Everyone likes ice cream. Stanley was the youngest angler to win the Classic at 21, 45 years ago. But was he from Georgia? Did I ever play video games as a kid? Did you ask some weird questions? Yes. Actually, because I had an Atari. I played Pitfall, Space Invaders, Galaga, whatever, the Centipede. We didn't have what you guys had. And I had Pong. Let's see. Never had a Bassmasters membership. Memberships are out of date and just a money grab anyway. I believe that. But Big Daddy, you get the 4 or 5 cool baits and the Bassmaster magazine every month, which sometimes has some good stuff in it. But I do find it's a lot more of ads. The Bassmaster magazine has some good stuff in it, but it is a lot of ad space, a lot, and that's how they make money there too, selling ad space. I did, just because you can get everything from digital platforms nowadays. So you're talking about canceling your membership. 814 flying in time. It's more a legacy, if anything, to most. I agree with you on that. That makes a good point. Now, it's a money laundering scheme for Chase at this point. Now, I don't know about that. And then 814 flying says, Granddaddy had it, so you do. And that is true. That is true. There, my dad was a member. My grandpa was a member. Now I'm a member. I can see that being with a lot of people. 100%. I'm very curious to see. I really would like to talk to him, like get true numbers. Like, okay, so somebody brought it up last night about Fox, about FS1, and they said, and I forget who it was, and they might be 100% correct, where they said viewership on FS1 is down 31% or something like that. And that could be very well true. It's probably down for the whole channel, but I'd like to see the numbers. And I'll tell you this too, guys. Listen, this is something else too. It's not so much the way they calculate views on a TV. And I'll tell you this, guys, right now. He owns the printing side, so that's how you make Bass look non-profitable. Okay, I got you. So a view is you click on it. That's a view. Okay? That is a view. Trust me, with our TV show, we get all the analytics. I can tell you that that's a view. It is one click. Whether they watch it 1 second or 45 hours, that is a view. It might be you have to watch it 3 seconds, but that's a view. Now, what's a more important analytic is, let's say your viewership might be down, but the ones watching it, how long are they watching it for? Okay. If you then you get paid per time of viewing. Not necessarily. Not like with Waypoint. It's a whole different thing. You don't make no money that way. You actually have to pay to put your program on. Most all channels are like that. You can buy a time slot. That's why you see infomercials like on Saturday afternoons on some of these channels, because they didn't have no programming and they paid for that time slot. But a view is a view. But if you're down 31%, that's fine. But if the remaining viewers are watching it the entire time, to sponsors and everybody else, that's much more profitable for them than the amount of views. You get what I'm saying? Analytics, that's where it becomes very, very important. Brian Justice, I've been a lifetime member for 20 years and still read cover to cover. I still read it too when I'm sitting on the toilet in here. I read it. But that's how they figure it. So like, let's take some other channels on YouTube. You can pull up analytics. If you buy the program, and we have the program, I can pull up analytics of pretty much any and every YouTube channel. And they don't give you everything, but I can tell you how many views they get compared to ours. I can tell you how much watch time they get compared to ours. All that stuff. So you may have a certain pontificator out there who's got 100+ thousand followers, maybe even 150,000 subscribers. But if you look at the engagement rate, it's down lower to less than 1%, maybe 2%, actually engage in the videos. You could have a channel that has 20,000 subscribers, much smaller, but they've got an engagement rate of 50%. 50% of that 20,000 is die hard in there. Now, I'm a sponsor, and I come and I look. Well, he's got a lot more subscribers, a lot of this, but the engagement rate's low. This guy doesn't have near as many, but good Lord, look at that. That's where the money's going. It's going right to that guy with the bigger engagement. So while Bassmaster's numbers may be down view-wise, is their engagement higher? And that's what is important. That's what you want. That's what we want. Like when an episode of our TV show comes out, I don't care if it gets 20,000 views. It doesn't matter if 19,000 of them only watched 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I would rather have 5,000 guys watch the entire program start to finish. But the way you get paid in a TV show is not, it's not YouTube. You don't get paid per CPMs, or whatever, views per thousand. Works totally different in TV. That's what I was saying on social media. Now, social media, you do. Yes, you're 100% on social media. Forward-facing sonar is like sign stealing in baseball. It doesn't mean you're going to hit it, but it sure does give you a lot better chance. Josh, I cannot argue that. I cannot argue against that. The only difference is sign stealing in baseball is a no-no. Forward-facing sonar is legal. That's the only difference. But I do get it. Guys still try to steal signs in baseball. Now, unless you're the Houston Astros and you're beating drums and doing all that other stuff, yeah. It's like NASCAR. Like, I think they should bring back some cheating in NASCAR. Just myself. Sign stealing is perfectly legal. It is until you do like the Astros and you start using outside things. Then it's not. That's what I'm saying. As long as you don't use the technology, for sure. It's been going on forever. But it is a no. They don't like that. That's when you're going to take a baseball upside the ear. You know what I'm saying? I finally got the forward-facing sonar, Jarrett. How you like it? But everyone does it in baseball. Listen, yeah, I can't argue it. I can't argue it. You're right. I saw some great guys miss fish with forward-facing sonar. Not much of an advantage. The advantage is being able to find them. That is where the advantage is, and seeing how they react to your lures. 100%. NASCAR should do away with restrictor plates. Heck yeah, baby. Let them roll. If all anglers did that, 100 to 100,000 views. I don't know exactly what you're trying to say right there. It comes down to knowing where to run forward-facing sonar exactly. And I know some guys that actually they'll use it more to find structure than they are. I appreciate everyone's opinions, but as a parent of a champion college tournament angler, 4-time champs, I know we got to get them on the show, dude. We keep messing that up. I can tell you, no forward-facing sonar in high school, limited in college, and I'm telling you, we agree. We agree. Now, Bass membership in 1990. I'm trying to read this. 10,000. In 2025, over 515,000. It's a big jump. Now, that's what Dead Rabbit just said right there. Setting in the urgent care, enjoying my favorite live on TikTok. Well, Curtly Eller, I hope you're okay. Forward-facing sonar is okay. Got the check mark. I hope everything's okay, or maybe you're just sick. I hope you didn't chop a toe off or anything like that. That's a very interesting stat. 10,000 in 1990. That's the year I graduated high school. To over a pre-employment drug screen. Gotta love those. To over 515,000 today. High school fishing, college fishing, all of these things tell me that bass fishing is not dying. Pros are pros for a reason. I don't understand why they need more help. Maybe they don't, Josh. I mean, listen, that is a fair, we've said that on this show today. That's a fair statement. And I would be totally okay if all of them banned it. I'd be okay with it. Absolutely. But if it's legal, I have no problem with them fishing with it. Now you got a pro with technology that they all have. So regardless, your pros are still, with or without technology, they're pretty much on a level playing field, right? So if all the pros have it, then you're seeing who's the best with all the pros that have the technology. I mean, either way, but yeah, do they need it? Probably not. Social media influencers proved anyone could be paid. True. Ruins pro leagues fishing. Well, that's where all the money's going now. And I feel the same way Kurt Eller said. That's where all the money's going now. That's one of the problems with pro fishing is the sponsorship money's going to the YouTubers. 100%. What are you going to do? Give it to a guy, put it on his jersey. He comes across your stage. He gets at most 20 seconds if he's doing well. To say, I want to thank my sponsors. Put a wrap on his boat. What if he ain't got a camera? Or you can put it on a YouTube. You give that same $50,000 to a YouTuber who's going to put your stuff in front of, I don't know, millions. I can tell you I can tell you because our analytics in the last, was it last week or the week? I forget, but across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, just us, and we're not a big channel. We had over like 1.12 million views on our stuff. And I can't remember. It wasn't for like a whole month, I don't think. It was like just like recently. So think about that money spent in front of somebody that really has a reach a lot bigger than ours. Now you're putting that out in everything. In everything. Let's see. I helped boys in college to learn how to throw a square bill, fish a jig. College boys that only had fished a minnow and spoons all their lives and only used forward-facing sonar. These were college boys. Yeah, now listen, I can't lie. There's some high schoolers that's the only thing they know how to do, and they need to be. That's why I think you should ban it in high school. Disparity, and it will help them. I mean, that's another pro to it. Hey there, going fishing with Ed. I'm late. Yeah, you are. Where you been? Pros will find fish with mapping and side scan if they take the scope away. Yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt them at all. In fact, I will tell you this. This is fishing with Kevin Underwood. He will go into a pocket, and he's side scanning first. He's got the Garmin on it. He is side scanning first. Then he's finding the fish on side scan. Then he's marking where he sees them, and then he'll turn around and come back. Then if he wants to, he'll pull out the Garmin. But I promise you, he side scans a ton of his fish because I've watched him do it. Yours is a more valid platform. Not half as many guys watching Bassmaster and FLW when you are getting than what I'm getting. Oh, listen, a lot more watching than me. I appreciate you saying I'm so many more views as people are seeing on your YouTube. Maybe there's a reason the old white and red-headed headings still work. I absolutely believe that. Now, Ed was out shopping with his wife. It's her birthday today. We'll let it slide. All these new kids want to throw these new weird BS baits. Sure. Some of them work, though. Don't sleep on the dice baits. There are guys catching a lot of fish on these dice baits. They literally had no idea how to use side scan or 2D. They were amazed on 2D to throw at spaghetti noodles. Let me tell you something. If your 2D is set up right, you can watch a fish nose down on it. You can see your line. It ain't as live as, live scope, but you can watch a fish nose down on 2D. Doug, we'll see you later, buddy. I'll call you tomorrow. Is that why all these new kids catch so many fish, Antho? No. I tell you why these new kids catch so many fish, because they're on the water 6 days a week. At least the ones that we know from around here that are like the upper level new kids, and that can, same thing with Emil and Paul Marks Jr. that are from around here that are on the elites right now. They're on the water every damn day. Every day. It's a lifestyle. Rob G said it. Look, you don't get to live a normal lifestyle if you want to be a pro angler. These guys are not going out with the girls like we did back in high school. I was chasing the girls. They're on the water fishing. So anyway, guys, all right, we've been going. I got some guys parked outside waiting to get in the shop. Most of the time they leave. I mean, there's like 5 or 6 of them just sitting out there waiting to get in. So I am going to go and let them in so they can shop. You guys listen. Tom Oswald, there are approximately 30 million bass anglers in the United States, 60 million worldwide. 550,000 bass members is not a good number. Might not be. But then again, what you're doing, though, not everybody follows professional fishing. There are a lot of guys that play golf that don't watch the PGA. So I don't think you can kind of equate that. Now, take that 60 million worldwide and all that, 30 million bass anglers in the United States. How many of them are fly fishermen? But there's a ton of fly guys. But I mean, you can find that in everything. For all the people thinking they can only catch them because of scope, y'all have bumped your heads. Yeah, I know. Well, I feel like since they said they're only going to have it for 5 tournaments, the anglers should get to pick. I like that idea, Thomas Alexander. I do. Let's see. But I get what you're saying, Tom. Yeah, 550,000 bass. Yeah, that's probably not good. It's the engagement rate. But I would think, again, most of those guys don't care about professional fishing. Probably the vast majority. Hell, I don't care about it as much as a lot of these guys do. Traveling Fisherman, you have a great day. You too, buddy. I appreciate your platform. Best thing I ever did was find us. You have helped me through some very rough times. Well, dude, thank you. That means a lot. And we're always here for you guys. You know that. It's like anything at a high level. You have to give up everything. True. You got to give it up. We have 500 plus members in our group, only 26 paid for memberships. Yeah, I know. Trust me. Same thing here. I got a bunch of them. How many people actually pay to support the channel? It's not a very high number. So, I mean, I kind of get that. That's in everything. If you can convert 1%, you're doing really, really good when it comes to memberships, paying memberships. So anyway, all right, guys, with that, I'm going to go let these guys go. I'm going to get rid of you YouTube guys first. We'll be back tomorrow at 12. Dadgummit, this mouse absolutely sucks. We'll be back tomorrow at 12, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do on the Livewell tomorrow night. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Come back and see me tomorrow or come up here to the shop this afternoon. I appreciate you guys on YouTube. We'll see you guys later. All right, and you guys over here on TikTok,